Here is a typical tour player's graph of pelvis sway with a driver and a table with values from our tour database. This is from 94 male tour players that were either on the PGA Tour or the European Tour. I will explain the graph and add tour player numbers as needed. In the graph, the vertical axis is pelvis sway in inches. The horizontal line is time in seconds. The black horizontal line is zero sway. It is made to be zero at the position the center of the pelvis is at address. If the curve is above the zero line, it means that the current pelvis position is more toward the target than it was at address. On the other hand, if the curve is below the zero line, it means that the current pelvis position is more away from the target than it was at address. Moving from left to right on the graph, the golfer moves from address to top, then impact, and finally to finish, with a vertical black line showing each of these key points. The area between address and top is backswing, between top and impact is downswing, and between impact and finish is follow-through. Some key points to notice: the curve goes negative during the backswing, showing a slight sway away from the target. This suggests a loading action to the trail leg. On the table, we see the average maximum sway is 1 inch, or about 2.5 centimeters. And from the graph, we see that this occurs before the top of backswing. We see that the curve slopes up before the top of backswing. This suggests that there is typically a lateral shift of the pelvis toward the target before the club turns around at the top of backswing. Also, we can see from the table that the position of the pelvis at the top of backswing, on average, is more toward the target than the address position. The curve then rises rapidly in the downswing as the pelvis moves rapidly toward the target. Notice that the curve flattens a little just before impact. This indicates a slight slowing down and stabilization of the pelvis. This may aid in the release of the club. Also notice that the pelvis is about 4.6 inches, almost 12 centimeters, more toward the target than it was at address. The golfer has gotten over to the lead leg, and impact is certainly not the same position as address. After impact, the curve rises rapidly again, indicating more movement toward the target during the follow-through, finally stabilizing at finish. From the table, we see that on average, the tour player is almost 8 inches, about 20 centimeters, further toward the target at finish than at address position. So, in summary, the typical motion of the pelvis in the pro driver swing is: load the trail leg by swaying slightly away from the target during the backswing. Then begin the move toward the lead leg before top of backswing. Move rapidly toward the lead leg and stabilize just before impact. Then after impact, continue moving toward the target during the follow-through and stabilize for finish.